Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about color grading your Fuji F-Log footage. I've had a lot of you guys asking about like tutorials on like how I get my footage to look the way it does. So I've decided to make a few short videos explaining aspects of color grading that you need to know to be able to replicate or understand what I'm doing. So that for this first video, we're going to be going over the really basic concepts of starting out color grading that I didn't know. I wasn't taught this. I had to learn this on my own. So right out of the gate, what we need to do to take something like this F-Log footage and turn it into something that's usable is to convert it from F-Log, the color and gamma, the color space and gamma, to something that's actually usable, which is Rec709. The best way to do this, especially being F-Log, is the Fujifilm utility LUTs. Now we have to make a pretty big distinction between utility LUTs and creative LUTs. Those are completely different things. A utility LUT is made by a manufacturer that is designed for their log gamut and color space to convert it to a proper BT 709 color space and gamma. A creative LUT is made by a online scammer trying to make money off of people who don't know better. Because of how LUTs work. You can't just take a LUT that, sure, looks great. I could make a LUT off of videos that I've made before, and then put it online and say, here, buy this and make your Fuji stuff look great. But that's not how color grading works. That's not how video footage works. That's not how any of this works. It doesn't even work for myself. I can't like edit a piece of footage to look awesome and then just copy and paste the settings and it look perfect on a completely different clip. Every single clip is different and unique in different and unique ways. There is no way to do that. Even if you do like take a whole node tree that you make for a clip and then copy paste that onto another, you're going to have to change aspects of that node tree to fit the new clip. So that's a huge distinction we have to make right out of the gate. Don't buy creative LUTs. They're always a scam. Get your manufacturer's conversion LUTs. In this case, or utility LUTs. In this case, Fuji makes utility LUTs that they give away for free, like most manufacturers. You can find them on their website, which I've provided a link in the description to get. It's just a large zipped folder of pretty much every LUT for every camera they've made. All you have to do is take yours and put it into DaVinci. I won't be showing how to import LUTs in DaVinci because this video isn't about that. Starting out, what I do is take one node and then add two behind it or in front of it. In this case, I just did behind. What we're going to be doing is putting that conversion LUT on the last node. So, this is, you're going to go to the XH1, and then we're going to say, let's do the Eterna. And boom. I mean, that looks great. Fantastic, right out of the gate. Now, the question is, if you don't know better, why would I be putting the LUT on the last one instead of, say, the first one? That's because once you put this LUT onto a node, anything after it will be limited by that LUT. So what you want to do is put your edits, any kind of color or exposure changes, before the LUT, not after. So that's just an ultimate rule of thumb. Whenever you're using any kind of LUT, you put it at the very end, never at the start, or in the middle for that matter. But yeah, there you go. They also supply other LUTs, which I just turned it off at the same time as right clicking, so that you can have like the Eterna You can have their wide dynamic range. I think that's what WDR stands for. I could be wrong. Or just this, which this is useful, which will be come into play in a later video. It's converting the color space, but not the gamma, so that you'll get the Rec709 color space, but the gamma will stay the same. That will actually be very useful in a later video talking about a film emulation LUT. But in this case, we could do that. What I typically do if I'm going to do a really basic edit and grade to footage is I'll use, the first one will be my exposure / contrast, and the second one will be my color correction. So for this, just off the cuff, what I might do is bring the gain down a bit, bring the shadows down, something like that. Maybe pump a little bit of contrast into it, a bit of juice, as Kazi would say, something like that. Allow the blacks to fall off, allow that to happen. I'm fine with that. And get a cool look right out of the gate. And then with color, if you're shooting Fuji, I have found almost universally it will have a slight green tinge to it. No clue why, but the most universal best solution I found is just going to 4 tint, and that usually fixes it. It's one of those things that you don't notice it until you notice it. And I only noticed it because I got a color chart with a gray card and noticed that it was always slightly green. And I was like, that's interesting. And I ruled that pretty much all of the time, any kind of clip, because it's baked into the camera itself, not based off of what you're shooting, 4+ on the tint is close enough that it looks fantastic after adding that. I mean, this clip already looks great. Right out of the gate, just doing a basic conversion, a little bit of the contrast and exposure changes, and it looks fantastic to my eyes. You can do a lot more onto it with like changing the color and doing a bunch of different stuff if you want to. Like this, I used a screenshot and then made this like quote unquote 1917 look. A cool look where I made it like try and made it like a very cool white look, like commercially kind of, just a little too much contrast it looks like. But yeah, there you go. I think that's about the basics of it. Getting started right out of the gate. This is like the most fundamental thing you need to know about color grading to start off, is you need to convert your log to Rec709. And then know how to grade after that. The other thing, which we're going to go to real quick, is your export settings. DaVinci will default to whatever it defaults to, but especially if you're going to be uploading to YouTube, you need to know that YouTube will expect certain things in your videos. And so for me, the best results I've found to get a video clip that looks like what I edited, like this that we were just looking at, is to set the data levels to video. Sometimes I'll have restrain or retain. I don't think that really matters. I've never really seen a difference between having that and not having that. And then making sure that your color space and gamma tags are set to Rec709. That way it won't be like one says Rec709 and like your gamma says gamma 2.2, which is effectively the same thing as Rec709, but it can come up as like a 2 instead of a 1 in YouTube, and then it'll throw it off and make your video look a little funky. So by doing that, you ensure that that'll work. Another thing is, if you're on Mac like myself, if you open your footage in QuickTime, you'll see that your footage doesn't look like it did in DaVinci. That's because of pretty much these tags. QuickTime does this funky thing where it like attributes incorrect tags to video clips. So the best way to actually see what your video actually looks like is to download VLC and then open it with that. So that's what I always do whenever I'm reviewing footage I've edited, is I open it in VLC. to see what it like. I'll get a better approximation of what the video actually looks like. But yeah, I hope this helped you guys out. I'll have a few more videos coming out in the next little bit. Let me know if you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, or anything else you'd like me to cover. But yeah, hope you have a good one. Thank you for watching.